Hello and welcome to my Brexit presentation for Contemporary Economics. The Brexit referendum occurred on the 23rd of June 2016 and aimed to answer the question over the United Kingdom's membership of the European Union. The question that was asked in the referendum was, should the United Kingdom remain part of the European Union or leave the European Union? The referendum had a voter turnout of 70%, which was roughly around 33.5 million people. Once the votes had been counted for the referendum, it had been decided that 52% of these voters had voted to leave the European Union, with the remainder voting to remain. This means, by a very narrow margin, the United Kingdom had decided to leave the European Union. This means that Theresa May will invoke Article 50, which she has said she will do before the end of March 2017. Article 50 is designed to negotiate a country's exit from the European Union. The following presentation will cover many of the issues surrounding Brexit, the impact of Brexit, and going forward in a post-Brexit Britain. One of the main things people cared about and worried about the Brexit vote was the economy, how the economy would react to the vote, and more so given the vote to leave the Union, which was somewhat unexpected. The OECD, or the Organisation of Economic Cooperation and Development, gives out forecasts regarding growth rates of countries. It has since downgraded its forecast for 2017 for the United Kingdom from 2% to 1%, as it predicts Brexit will start to have a negative impact on the economy. This may be because Brexit brings uncertainty to the market, as we do not know what's going to happen regarding it, which is normally bad for investment and hence growth of the economy. However, it slightly improved its prediction for this year by 0.1% to 1.8%, because the vote to leave did not result in as bad a scenario as people had predicted. Spending going down and perhaps job losses as a result of Brexit. Migration and immigration was one of, if not the key battleground of the referendum, with both sides claiming various statements about the positives and negatives of migration. The Leave campaign said that the vote to leave will help the UK to regain control of its borders and reduce immigration this way. They claimed that immigration was taking British jobs and helping the infrastructure, although there is little evidence to support the claim about jobs, as many EU migrants take low-paid seasonal jobs such as farming, which UK job seekers typically aren't looking for. From the EU, there is a net migration of 180,000 people per year, which is the highest recorded number. This number comes despite promises from the government to cut migration to the tens of thousands from all sources worldwide. Migration isn't all bad though, as they contribute 34% more to the UK economy than they take from it, this giving the government more money than they otherwise would have in order to spend on projects such as improving the NHS or improving the road system. They also help to create jobs. Since 2007, when Bulgaria and Romania joined the European Union, and hence they're relatively able to migrate to the United Kingdom, have started 4,600 and 6,500 companies respectively, this creating jobs for the market in the UK. This could mean, despite it being a major point of the Leave campaign, and a reason many people voted to leave, immigrants are a positive to the UK, and hence potentially eliminating this by leaving is a bad idea. One of the biggest impacts, and perhaps the most obvious, was the effect on the pound. Immediately after the vote, and it became apparent that the Leave campaign had won the referendum, the currency began to fall against both the US dollar and the euro. The exchange rates have a big impact on the UK. The depreciation in the pound would lead to imports being comparatively more expensive than they were before the vote, as the pound buys less euros or dollars. This can put prices up. However, the lower exchange rate is good for exports and hence the economy, as it makes these cheaper and can make the UK companies more competitive with those on the continent, and hence increase the amount of trade the UK does with the world. Short term, this can lead to a faster growth rate as companies are busier, as well as job rises as companies look to take as much of the increased business as they can. But with the UK's relationship with the European Union undecided, they may only be temporary, but in the short term it has a positive effect on the trade balance, which is exports minus imports, as exports rose by 0.8 billion while imports only rose by 0.3 billion, thus indicating a narrowing in the trade deficit. Following on from the previous slide, the increase in import prices, as well as the fact that cheaper exports can push up domestic prices as companies are able to make more money from exports, can lead to inflationary pressure on the market and hence price rises. Recently, the UK inflation rate grew to 1% from 0.6%. However, it is unlikely this is Brexit related, as even the Bank of England said it was too early for Brexit to have a major effect on the market. But they expect inflation to rise beyond the 2% target as effects of Brexit start to come into the market. An example of this happening is a recent disagreement between Tesco's and Unilever, the company behind products such as Marmite. Unilever wanted Tesco's to increase the price of its products by 10% in order to counteract the effect of the lower currency and exchange rate, which led to its products being temporarily unavailable on Tesco's website. However, they did eventually reach an agreement, although it is not known to the public which this agreement was or the effect that it had on consumers. Another key issue about the vote to leave is the impact it has on jobs. Many companies based in the UK take advantage of the access the UK has to the European Union and its reduced tariffs and quotas to operate. A big example of this is the banking sector that makes up a significant proportion of the UK economy. Since the vote, banks such as HSBC and JP Morgan have both said that they could move jobs from London for the reduced costs of being within the European Union, with 1,000 trading jobs and 4,000 jobs respectively. Small industry is also affected, such as costume maker Smithies announcing that they'll be moving their production from Lincolnshire to the continent so that they can continue to be competitive in their largest markets. This is despite being operational within Lincolnshire for over 100 years. However, there have been no immediate impacts on jobs, with unemployment falling slightly since the vote. The government will have to decide on what type of deal it wants for the United Kingdom and its relationship with the European Union. This debate mainly falls into two separate categories, these being a hard or soft Brexit. Hard Brexit is where the UK goes it totally alone, is completely separate from the Union, allowing it to freely have trade agreements with as many countries as it wants, as well as total control over its borders and the laws it creates and passes. However, it may have more costs in the form of tariffs to the European Union, as this is one of the things the European Union eliminates. On the other hand, there is soft Brexit, where the UK will have access to the market, and thus won't have to pay added tariffs, similar to the Norway model, where they're in the European Economic Area, but not the European Union, allowing them some control over their border. However, the soft Brexit is not without its downsides, with the cost of free trade may include having to give some freedom of movement to the citizens of the European Union, which the government is against, as it was a major point of the referendum. It also could mean that we have to take European Union laws without having a say in writing them. We've now reached the end of my presentation on Brexit. In summary, Brexit is just starting. We don't know what's going to happen to the UK economy or the world economy at this point, as the United Kingdom hasn't invoked Article 50 to begin the negotiations, and the government hasn't made its position particularly clear on the matter as of yet. However, its effects are likely to become more obvious over time, as we see its effect on prices, inflation, jobs, and many other factors regarding the European Union. Brexit is not necessarily a good or a bad thing for the United Kingdom. It has its positives and negatives. For example, being able to control the laws you pass stops your country from getting laws it may not need or particularly want, and being in control of trade with other nations may be a positive thing. However, the European Union also has many good things about it, apart from being a part of the Union and be able to discuss on a more global level. The effects of this could be on immigration, which has a net gain, at least economically, to the United Kingdom. Whatever happens, the UK will need to adapt to the world economy in order to get the best for its citizens. Thank you for listening to my presentation on Brexit. I hope you enjoyed it.